Greetings. Let us not forget the purpose behind the tabernacle. Let us not forget the significance behind the assembly. Why this is to be noted is because many of us have received the cleansing power of Jesus. We've been washed by the blood. We have accepted this salvation, and we have been taught by many people within different sects that we ought to now become highly emotional and to ramble off with emotive harangues. And in reality, the assembly is an institution of higher learning. It is a place where we go before the Almighty God, the God of wisdom, and we ought to invoke in His presence, and we ought to feast at His table, and we ought to be filled with the finest barley and the finest wheat. We ought to drink and imbibe of this wine of life, and therefore become one with this covenant. And what that says is that we are to now be imparted with wisdom. What has happened is that we have done away with logic, and we've been caught up with this emotional move, and we've missed that there is a balance with God. And God did not call us to not ask questions, for in His parables they pulled the disciples into asking questions. And in His training as a disciple, you were to follow after Christ and to be disciplined in the way and word of Christ. You ought to ask the right question, to yield the right answers. And let us not forget that within the tabernacle we ought to offer up praises and sacrifices unto God. And we ought to give our whole heart, our whole mind, our whole soul. But let us understand that there is a discretion, there is discernment that needs to take place right there, and only God and He alone can pull us and draw us. Unless He pulls us and draw us and woo us, we will not get there. But let us not forget that the assembly is a place, it's a school of thought. It's a school of filled with many knowledge and tools and resources. And we have to understand that the school of prophets was a school of higher learning, and it was an expression, a scholastic movement that helped to frame the mind of those individuals that were seeking more of God. And if you're a seeker, you have to gain and acquire more knowledge of God. And you've got to understand that the assembly is symbolic for that which He's spoken of the church and the bride of Christ, which is one, knitted together firmly, and that with the members have roles, and the roles are all governed by the principle of wisdom. And it's all governed by this rudimental principle and order. And with this system and with order, there is math and science that plays a part in it. So we have to know that with the numbering and with the system and with the things God has done, and there are numerology, and that took science and math. There's a wisdom of God, and He did not call you to wash away your intellect. He did not call you so that you're now stuck and stupid. He has called you to be renewed, to be transformed, to be translated. And if you are walking in the light, you are walking in creativity. You're walking in a place that is not absent. It is now not absent from that which He has called and framed from the beginning. For in the beginning He spoke and created. From in the beginning, when there was darkness, when there was voidness, when there was marshness, God came and brought that light. And with that light it brought innovations. With that light it brought witty inventions. With that light it brought an enlightenment within that was able to give us that ability to see visions and to dream dreams, because of that which was done before. And because of that was done before eternity, within eternity, and throughout eternity, because it was framed and done before. All we're doing now is going through a process of the reclamation of the image of Christ. And He's trying to bring us to the fullness thereof. And it takes this knowledge of God. It takes us understanding the importance of wisdom.